Can you describe, first and foremost, just remind us how long you were put into that cell, how big the cell was, and what the environment was like?
Well, Romania has a very, I guess, smart way of dealing with their prison system. What they do is instead of investing money in the prison system, they eat all the money in fines for treating prisoners badly because it's cheaper than actually constructing new prisons. So every single prison here is built during the communist regime. None of them have been upgraded. None of them are nice at all. The cell was about 4 yards by 3 yards. I'll use yards because I know you're an American. I like to use meters, of course. But 2 sets of bunk beds, tiny toilet in the corner. It's not a toilet, it's a hole in the ground, quite literally. And then there's a shower overhead that is either way too hot or way too cold. I was there for 92 days. And if I had known I'd be there for 92 days, it would have been a much easier task. However, every 2 to 3 weeks, I'd have a court hearing to see if I was there for longer, if I was going to be released and put on house arrest. So I didn't know when I was going to get out, which was, I guess, the most mentally challenging part of it. But it got a lot easier towards the end when I was put in the same cell as my brother. And then my only role, my only job, my only focus was keeping Andrew mentally focused and keeping Andrew happy and making Andrew laugh. And I didn't even care about the fact that I was in jail because I am my brother's keeper. You know, it's good to have your brother's back. So, you know, if I woke up and he was depressed or he was sad or he was angry, I didn't care about my own mental state. It was, how's Andrew doing? And that's all I really focused on.
There's no universe where I can't make Andrew laugh. And you have all the time in the world to play your stupid jokes. So every time someone didn't want to smoke, you insult him, you call him names, that's what guys do. Andrew would go out to visit the doctor or the lawyer, etc. I don't know if he's going to be back in 10 minutes or in an hour. And I'd open a pack of and stand by the door like this. I still don't see it as such a negative thing, and people will call me crazy. But it was me and my brother drinking coffee, smoking, talking. You know, we have an innumerable amount of stories and experiences and ideas, and he knows things I don't. I know things he doesn't. I'm a Christian, he's a Muslim. We have ideas that conflict, and we debate because we're smart. And I really think it brought us closer together.
Did you meet anyone interesting in there?
So there was one kid who was in jail for looking in car windows, essentially. We're going to investigate this guy month after month after month. Couldn't afford lawyers, was just sitting around in jail. So people had very interesting stories. I met heroin dealers, real human, I mean, like actual human. So I'd go to court and the policeman who would escort me would say, oh, they definitely got to let you out. And I say, why? They said, because I see real human cases. They've got and messages saying, better get back out on the streets. That's real human. They're accusing you because you told a girl to post a TikTok video at a certain time because it's better interaction. That's their evidence against you. You're definitely getting out. And then I didn't get out. And all the police were shocked. So I met some very interesting prisoners.
There was this guy, Mustafa. He was the entertainment for the entire jail. Imagine like a coliseum watching a warrior at work. All the prison windows, you could see this guy's cell. And what you do is, when the whole jail started chanting, Mustafa, Mustafa, is he'd start smashing his room up and taking anything he could and throwing it out the window. So the first few days I saw him do this, he was ripping up his mattress, throwing the feathers from his pillow out, throwing his bar of soap out, and everyone would cheer every time he got something out the window. He ended up breaking the glass to his window. It's February, it's -10. Mustafa's cold as no blanket, sleeping on a concrete floor, but then the cheering would start and the chanting would start. Mustafa, Mustafa, Mustafa. And then, out of nowhere, you just hear these noises, this banging. The guards would be like, oh, we're not gonna go beat him up now. He's got nothing left in his room. And he'd be kicking the wall, trying to break off bits of tile, peel off bits of metal from the bed frame. And every time he threw something out the window, the jail would erupt. Yeah. So, obviously, I like Mustafa. Every time I saw him, I passed him in the hallways. He ain't got no he's broke. I'm the rich guy in jail. I'm the boss. Yeah. The dawn of jail. So I hand him some every time I see him. So then Mustafa had the bright idea of going into various cells where he had beef with people who didn't like his bullshit, smashing up their cell, and telling everyone, I'm with the Tate Brothers now. I'm with the Tate Brothers now. You see how big they are? Don't f with me. But he's in his cell with these people.
Ah, shit.
I'm on a different cell on a different floor.
Yeah.
I can't back him up.
Yeah.
Not that I would.
Yeah.
And I heard he got his ass whooped about 8 or 9 times throwing my name around jail.
Damn.
What were the guards like? The guards were very good people.
Really?
I feel like the guards knew, they know what a criminal is and what a criminal isn't. I'm not gonna say they knew my case. I'm not gonna say they knew I was innocent, but they know what human sexual criminals actually look like because they deal with them day to day. One of the policemen was telling me a story of after a day in court, he had to stay in the police van. His hands were shaking because he couldn't escort the guy back into jail because he said I was going to get out my nightstick and break his teeth in because he saw what the guy had been doing. You know, these guys know what real criminals look like. And a lot of them just wanted to make sure we were okay. They didn't want anything bad to happen in the prison. And I could say I made 2 or 3 friends.
There was a time when I was in prison and my lawyers had spoken to Andrew on the phone. I famously didn't make a single phone call throughout my entire...
a single phone call?
Not a single phone call. Nope.
Wow, you really are built different.
I am built different. And there was a conversation with my lawyers about, well, this isn't really about Tristan. He's in jail for being your brother. It's not really about him that much. They know this is bullshit. So what we're going to do is we're going to push for a release of Tristan, and we think we'll be able to get that done, and then we'll push for your release later. And when I heard that, I was furious. So natural human emotion and reasoning for myself, self-preservation, is I want to get out of jail, naturally. And I did want to get out of jail. But I said to the officer in charge, I'm not going to say his name, but you know, it's a guy who I spoke to while I was in jail. He was the officer. I said, look, I like you, and you're my favorite police officer that's here. So if they try to take me out of here without Andrew, you're the one I'm going to punch. I'm going to punch you and get assaulting a police officer and get thrown back in here. I'm not going to hit you that hard, but I'm warning you in advance because I like you. You're the one I'm going to strike. So good luck taking me out of jail. I'm happy to override my natural instincts for survival, self-preservation, to do the things that I think need to be done for the people I care about and for the people I love.
Did Andrew tell you the time that I made him laugh in court and we got sent back to jail?
No.
Oh, hilarious. So you get to court, it's a big shit show. It's not very organized. There's a bunch of cases being heard. They sit you down in jail. And we've been saying this is a Matrix attack from the very beginning. We've been saying it in our cell all the time. It's a kind of a running joke. So we're sitting in court and this real scumbag looking guy is standing up in court and they're showing images on the screen of packed drugs, images with laptops with the screen censored. And Andrew doesn't speak Romanian very well, but words like pornography, child pornography sound very similar. So they were listing all this stuff that this guy did and this guy had in his house, and this guy really looked like a scumbag, and he's looking down at the floor. And Andrew and the judge is looking at us, and everyone, we're sitting there in court. And Andrew leans on my ear and goes, "What did this guy do?" And I leaned to his ear and went, "Nothing, it's a Matrix attack." He bursts out laughing in court. And it's like in school when you say something funny that you shouldn't and you're trying not to keep a straight face. So me and Andrew are sitting there trying to contain our laughter with these judges looking at us. Straight back to jail. That was our second month we got. We could have got out. I don't know. Maybe it's my fault.
So the first day that you guys got out, I vividly remember the picture in the news and like the unkempt hair and like you guys are smiling, and can you just tell me what that day was like? Just hearing the news, I guess, did you go to the courthouse first and then they let you go, or how did that about, and what did you think, and how was sleeping in your own bed?
So this is the craziest thing. When I got the news that I was free, so you'd go to court and you'd wait for the phone call. Now Andrew was always hopeful of going home. Andrew, every single time that we were waiting for this phone call, which was 6 or 7 times over the period, Andrew'd be like, "Oh, maybe we'll go home. What we can do, we can go home." I was just like, "Nope. It's a Matrix attack. Then keep us in jail forever. We're going to be here years." I just went to sleep. I ignored the news. So when the news came through, my lawyer told us we were going home. I literally banged on the prison door and I said, I shouted in Romanian, "I'm going home." The words are "Mergem acasă" in Romanian. And everybody, the guards, the prisoners, everybody erupted in this massive cheer. Because everybody knew I shouldn't have been there in the first place. Everybody erupted in this massive applause. And it was it was a very, very good feeling. And sleeping in my own bed, it's one of those times. You're not a party animal like me, and you've probably never been so drunk that you wake up and you don't know where you are. But I've been there. And it was one of those times where literally I woke up probably 5-10 times during the night and I didn't know where I was. It took a while to kind of adjust. I still had my prison beard, and you feel the cockroaches, the insects, everything that used to wake you up, the mosquitoes, everything that used to wake you up in jail, you feel it in your dreams or in your subconscious, and you're like, I'd shoot awake every single time. But it was very strange. I didn't know where I was. It took me 3 or 4 days of sleeping in my own bed until I realized I was actually free to walk around my house and see my friends and talk to people. It was an experience like none other. You couldn't replicate it. No matter how much money you had, no matter who you hired, you couldn't possibly replicate that feeling.
If you're going to walk around the world running your mouth all the time about what you are and what you think you are, eventually something's going to come along in the world and test you. If you walk around saying, "I'm the baddest man on the planet, I can beat anyone up on earth," one day someone in the street is going to be like, "You're the guy who thinks he can beat anyone up," and punch your lights out. I don't speak as much as Andrew, but I do say I'm a very strong-minded person. I always preach to young men, if you're going through hardships, you You need to deal with it like a man, continue your training, stay focused. And it just felt like God gave me an opportunity to prove to myself, above all else, as well as to everyone else who listens to me, that I am actually what I say I am. So coming out of jail, I'm almost grateful for the experience, as hellish as the environment was.